So, Tony Rocha, we are 3 days away from your Masters bout in Chicago. How are you feeling emotionally, physically, and mentally?
Emotionally anxious because I want to get going. I really want to take this on. Been several months of training and preparation, and now we're to these last few days before. So anxious emotionally. Physically ready. Physically, I'm as ready as I'm going to be. The goal was to leave nothing on the table, whether that was weight, the training, the technique, what we would do to be ready to have this fight. Number three, on mentally, focused. I'm focused. I'm prepared for it. Be ready for the chaos is really where I am mentally. I have no idea what's going to happen when I show up in Chicago. I don't know anything about my opponents as far as what they're going to bring into the ring. I don't know what their preparation is. So just that I understand and that I feel I've done everything I can to be ready. So I feel good.
So, Tony, what was your biggest challenge throughout this process?
This is without a doubt, these last few months, the hardest thing I've ever done physically. And I think a lot of that has to do with being 60 years old and going through this. It's very difficult. You push your body to limits that you didn't think you had. I was very blessed to have the right coach, Coach Sean Holcomb, in preparing me for this, for the Golden Gloves in Chicago. And he had told me early on, I'm not going to treat you like an old man, I'm going to treat you like a 25-year-old. And I countered with, well, you're still going to be getting an old man, but I'll give you everything that I've got. There were times I literally collapsed after a training session to where I needed help getting back up. He pushed me really hard, but he also then began to understand where my limits were. But this was difficult. The training sessions, the strength and conditioning sessions, having to get weekly massages, having to stretch every single day just to keep going, just to be able to go. As I continued to lose weight, the other challenge was the caloric intake was not keeping up with the output that I was doing in my training sessions. So that contributed to me breaking down at times, my body just not being able to go. Didn't have the fuel. Now I've gotten to the stage where my body is balanced. I'm ready, I'm feeling good. But the biggest challenge, just being at this age and training this hard.
Going the opposite direction, what was something that was pleasantly surprising in this preparation journey for your Masters bout? Something that instead of it being a challenge was something that you were feeling easy about, something that you were feeling good about, comfortable about?
That's a great question. I think that I was able to do it, that I was able to push further than I thought I could. I think without someone like Sean working with me and pushing me as the trainer, I probably would have cut my workouts shorter, probably would have not gone as hard, would not have trained with the commitment that he gave me. So I didn't know I could still do some of the things I could do. Maybe not as fast, but definitely being able to complete those tasks. So that was a nice surprise.
What got you into the sport? Take me back to the very beginning where you were like, what is this, and what got you interested in doing it?
My father was always very interested in sports in general and enjoyed combat sports. Even though I was not even 6 years old or about to be 6 years old, I remember the Muhammad Ali, Joe Frazier fight, the first fight in New York, the fight of the century. And I was so captivated by Joe Frazier, Joe was the one that won that fight, that I actually asked my mom when she was buying me swimming trunks to buy green and gold ones because that was the color that Joe Frazier wore in his fight. So all through those 70s, 80s, I've always loved the sport. It's always been, it used to be a much more prominent on free television, so you can watch a lot of great fights. And I followed it, had a subscription to Ring Magazine. I kept up with the sport quite a bit, and on my own, did my own training as well, and stayed in shape. And so again, I've just been in love for most of my life.
I kind of want to know a little bit about the first time in your life competing and what that was like.
So 1987, as I'm about a year out from graduating from the University of Houston. One of the fraternities on campus, Sigma Chi, hosted a fight night. It was essentially anyone could join, but it was mostly fraternities that competed in that event. I was interested in doing it, and I was going to compete. So I was going to represent my fraternity, Phi Sigma Kappa. So my father had a friend who was a professional boxer who became my trainer and got me ready for that fight. That fight, I fought at 132 pounds. When I prepared, I was ready, I was confident, went into the ring. Gentleman, the guy was fighting, was about 4 or 5 inches taller, very lean and long. I remember coming out, going right after him, and eating a bunch of jabs. Felt like a telephone pole was hitting me in the nose. I recovered and was able to survive. And I think by the second round, he had tired himself out just throwing so many punches. I was able to start working my way, getting inside, hitting him, beating him, and then really turned it on in the third round. It was close to being stopped, but he did hang on to make it to the end, and I won a decision. When I got to the back, I remember the blood coming out of my nose from all the jabs he'd landed, dripping down on the ground. And my trainer came over to me and said, "So, you ready for Golden Gloves?" And I just looked at him because, heck no, I'm done. I've got a year left before I graduate from college. So that was pretty much the end of my career.
So my next question, since then, what has kept you going as far as boxing? What has kept you in the art? What has kept you going as a coach, as a trainer?
Well, great question. So general interest kept me all the way through the 90s, into the 2000s. Life hits. I got married, got divorced, got remarried, children, career. Those things all took priority, right? But I always had an interest in the sport. I had a heavy bag at home that I would hit from time to time, move around a little bit. Began to, once my children had gotten older and one had already left the house, I began to spend more time with it in the garage. And I think of pounding on the bag so much made a lot of noise. And my wife finds maybe you should go to a boxing gym. So at that point, I wasn't looking to compete. So I just wanted something that would be more for fitness, just to stay in shape. And that brought me into Title Katie. And that was in December of 2020. And started working, training here, working out, and got into shape. And that love for it really came back. As time went on, people would say, "Hey, you seem to know how to box. Can you help me with this? Can you help me with that?" And that's what got me into the coaching side of the sport, starting in mid-2022. How
do you feel coaching has helped you prepare for this Masters bout?
Coaching's helped a lot. One of the things, though, that I was different concepts and getting different understanding of what the fighter is actually going through, being able to better empathize, right? One of the things that I was very careful of, though, during my training with Sean was when I came into the ring or when we began a session, I was the fighter, he was the coach. I took instruction from him. I did not challenge him. I did not question him. Whatever he told me to do, I did it. After the session would be over, then we could discuss different concepts. Why did you want me to do this versus that? And we would end up trading some ideas that he would, "You know what, Tony, maybe that is a better way of doing it the way you were thinking." But again, once the session started, I took the coach's hat off and was just a boxer.
My next question for you.
Yeah.
What made you take on this Masters bout at this point in time, at this point in your life? What made you say, "I want to do this"?
It started really October of 24. So that was the beginning of me preparing my Golden Gloves team, my first Golden Gloves team, and seeing what they were going through, the physical part as well as the mental part, the mental preparation of what it was going to take for them to be ready to compete. I had also coached Alex Montana, who had fought in a Masters event in early October. Seeing what he went through, seeing what those boxers were going through. I hadn't competed since 1987, right? It was a long time ago. So from trying to empathize as a 22-year-old versus today was going to be different. So I wanted to take on this challenge to become a better coach because, again, to help me better understand the fighters that I was training. What better place to do it than Chicago? Chicago is the home of Golden Gloves. So if you remember when I said earlier, or there was a question you had about, when my trainer asked me, "You ready for Golden Gloves?" And I went, "No, heck no, I don't want to do it." Well, this gives me that chance now to not only compete one more time at Masters, but to be able to do it in Chicago and to be able to do it at a Golden Gloves.
You kind of mentioned this a little bit, and maybe you are probably going to reiterate a couple things, but what do you hope to get out of this experience once you're all done?
Better understanding of the fighter, better understanding of the community, better understanding of what it takes to be a competitive boxer. We think we know as coaches. To be able to go through it, to really experience it, particularly at this age, really gives me a different perspective. That's what I really hope to gain from this, to become a better coach so that the people that I'm training, the boxers that I work with, have the best opportunity to succeed, not only in the ring, but also in life.
And my last question for you, I know the training process can be really grueling, right?
Yeah.
Biggest understatement perhaps, but what is something that you felt you really enjoyed from when you started to 3 days from the bout in Chicago?
From a vanity standpoint, boy, the way that I look now, going from 180 pounds now down to, as today, I'm weighing in below 150. So that I could physically do it, that I could accomplish it, that the community here at the gym, at the boxing gym, how they're behind me. How, go get him, Tony. For some, it's inspirational that they want to be able to think that they could possibly do it as well. My Golden Gloves team has really come together to give me that support. They spar with me in the ring. They have helped me prepare for this. 2 of them are actually going to Chicago to be there to support me. That's a huge deal, and I don't take that lightly. I'm quite humbled by it.
I kind of want you to talk to me a little bit about working with Sean.
Okay.
What caught your eye about Sean? What did you think Sean could bring to the table for you as a fighter in preparing for this bout?
From the trainers that we have at the gym, and we have several good ones, Sean is the only one who is a professional boxer. Sean also had a very successful amateur career here in the Houston area. Sean understands what it takes to win. Sean understands the type of training that has to be in place. We had a good rapport. We still do, even after all the training, but he understood boxing. He knew what it was going to take. I think that we were very similar in how we looked at things, some differences. I knew he would have me ready. Of the folks that we had here, I knew if I work with Sean and he's willing to commit to me, that he would give me my best opportunity to succeed.
What are you looking forward to the most after this experience, after your fight?
Pizza, and in Chicago, right? To say that I completed the journey, that it's over, that all the hard work paid off. I don't know what the result's going to be. I don't control the judges, I don't control the referee, nor do I control my opponent. But I know that I've been able to do everything that I could to win, or to be successful. I put it all out there. So it's going to be that sense that I did it, that I finished. I finished what I started. And like I said at the beginning, the pizza and a glass of red wine, maybe 2.
Love that. Send a message to your people. Send a message to your supporters. Anybody who has gotten you this far, anybody who's trained you, people who you've trained with, Sherry, anybody. What do you want to say?
First, I want to say thank you to all the folks that have been supportive of me from the very beginning. The first person had to be Sherry, my wife. Without her support, this wouldn't happen. She had to put up with days that I'm not around for training purposes. She has to go through my aches and pains as I go through recovery after a hard training session. So a lot of time away from home, away from her. So she's number 1. Sean Holcomb, coach. Without him, I think that he, in the end, is going to be the biggest difference this weekend. I don't know how hard the other guys have trained. I know they didn't train any harder. Maybe the same as I did, but there's no way they trained any harder than I did, and he's the one that helped prepare me for that. My Golden Gloves team, they all came together for me. My assistant coaches, both Christina and Ashley, all the members, Jose, Ace, Jeremy, and of course Edith, were all there for me to either do videos such as this, do sparring with me, give me encouragement, and help me through that process. Last, the members of the gym and my family and friends, the amount of support that they've given me as they've followed me along this journey, not something that I publicized a lot, but as more and more folks began to find out, they began to send me those emails, texts, phone calls, giving me that encouragement to be here. So thank you for that. It really does mean a lot to me. And as I said earlier, it's a humbling experience. So on to Chicago.